Welcome back to the Company Show. We tell like it is. We don't care how you feel. And my, oh my, what a game we had over this past weekend between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Oklahoma Sooners. Alabama goes on the road to take on Oklahoma. They get the victory 34-24 with an amazing comeback win on the road. I did not think it was possible for this Alabama team to get a win like that. But let's talk about this game because this was ugly for both teams, no matter what. No matter what way you want to look at it, it was ugly for both teams. Alabama got the win, so they will advance. But talk about a choke job of a lifetime, Oklahoma. How are you up 17-0 at home in the first half and lose that game? This is the worst choke job I've seen since the Falcons versus the Patriots in the 2017 Super Bowl when they were up 28-3. This is epic level proportions of a choke job. This brings Oklahoma to, I believe, 0-5 in playoff games. That's rough. That's rough. I got to be honest. If I'm an Oklahoma Sooners fan, I am pity partying myself right now. I am in the dumps. This was a tough loss because I said I live streamed the game. So for those that don't know, I live stream all the games, as many games as I can. I will be live streaming all the rest of the college football playoff games over on my TikTok account. But it got up 17-0. I'm like, hey man, this game is over. Like all Oklahoma has to do is just not fuck up, and this game is over. And they did exactly that. Fuck up. So let's talk about these numbers. Obviously, Bama got the win. They're advancing. They're going to play Indiana in the second round. But we need to talk about these numbers because while if you're an Alabama fan, you're feeling good about yourself, these numbers are not so good. Ty Simpson, he had himself a pretty decent day. He had 232 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 0 fumbles as well. So this Alabama team did not turn the ball over. I said that was one of the key factors to winning this game is winning the turnover margin. Don't turn the ball over at all. Alabama did just that. But this is the glaring red flag for Alabama. And it has bit them a couple of times this season. And if at this point, I think it's just who they are. But 28 yards, 28 rushing yards, the entire team. Not Ty Simpson, not one running back. The entire team, Alabama Crimson Tide, had 28 rushing yards on the ground for the night. Bama fans, you got to be honest with yourself. When you look at that, you won the game. Great. That's good. But you got to be honest with yourself and sit here and say, if this continues, it is going to get really ugly really fast. You are where you are at because your defense is so good, because your defense is playing at an elite level, and they have been able to keep you in every single game you've played. But when your defense is not playing up to the putting on the Superman cape, you lose because you cannot run the ball. It doesn't matter that Ty Simpson came out and threw for 232 yards with 0 interceptions and 2 passing touchdowns. You only ran the ball for 28 yards. That's going to bite you in this playoff, and it's going to bite you next year if you don't fix it. You got to fix that. If you go into Indiana with the way that their defense is playing, and you only rush for 28 yards, you're losing that game. If you somehow get past Indiana and you go on to play what I would assume would probably be Oregon, maybe Texas Tech, with the way those two offenses can score, and you're only rushing 28 yards, you're losing that game. If you make it somehow on a miracle, make it to the national championship, and you play either probably Georgia or Ohio State, and you only rush for 28 yards with those defenses, you're losing that game. This has been a problem from game one all the way till now. I am genuinely shocked that Alabama is still in the running for it. Congratulations, pat on the back to Bama. You're still in it. You're still playing. It's late December, almost Christmas time, and you are still playing football. So congratulations, Bama. But this is an issue y'all got to get figured out big time. Because if this persists into next season, if this persists to the next game, you're losing. If this persists into the next season, you're not making the playoffs. You missed the playoffs last season. You barely got in by the skin of your teeth. Very well could have lost that Auburn game at the end of the season. So 28 yards, 28 rushing yards. I don't even. That's how shocking that it's so bad that Oklahoma choked this game away, considering that Alabama only rushed for 28 yards. Holy cow! But give credit to Bama. You won the game. You advance. You're in the. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your stats look like. Doesn't matter if you win by 100 or 1. Win, you move on. Oklahoma. What was that? 17-0. And you lose the game. I mean, you look at these numbers. John Mateer, he played pretty good. He had 370 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, he did have the one costly interception that led to a pick six right there before the second half. That kind of gave a lot of momentum to Alabama. And that was just a bad throw. That was a bad throw. John Mateer has got very bad mechanics, and he has not seemed to be able to figure it out. Ever since he came back from his injury, he has never been the same quarterback that he was before his injury. And I don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know what you do to correct his form, to correct his passing form, his mechanics, because it is what it is at this point. But 307 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They didn't do too hot either on the run game. They only had 55 yards. The fact that you only have 55 yards the entire night running the ball and you still did better than the other team is absolutely crazy. This was a complete opposite. This game was a complete opposite from the first game, where the first game, Alabama won every single stat. Turnover margin, rushing margin, the passing yards, every single stat, total yards gained, but they lost the game. You flip it over to this one, Oklahoma won every single box score. They lost the game. Kind of crazy. It's a complete opposite of the first game. But I think these are 2 bad teams. I really do. I think that obviously Oklahoma has their issues on the offense. It's no surprise. Their defense can play at an elite level. Their defense can play with anyone. But if their defense isn't playing at their best, like what we saw against this game, against Bama, they're losing. They have a horrible offense. That offense is struggling. There's no consistency. John Mateer's got to get better, plain and simple. And Bama, same thing with them. I mean, same story with them. That defense can be elite at times. But it seems like Ty Simpson is doing it all on his own. Where's Ryan Williams? EA Sports should sue him for the amount of money they gave him to be on the cover of their game last year, the EA of NCAA football, because the man has dropped off a cliff. I don't know what has happened to him, but he has not lived up to what we all expected him to be this season. But if Ty Simpson isn't playing superhero football, this Alabama team is struggling. He is truly doing everything by himself. He has no help around him. That O-line is giving him no run game, no run support. It's crazy to think that a team that was once considered the best program, was the best program of all time, the best head coach under Nick Saban of all time, the greatest enemy of every other college football program as a Georgia fan. I grew up in the state of Alabama for a while. I lived in Alabama growing up as a Georgia fan. I hated Alabama, hated Nick Saban. I respect him now to what he's been able to do for the sport and how great he was. But when I was younger, I couldn't stand them. To see where they are now in the trenches, especially on the offensive line when it comes to running the ball, you should be able to run the ball as Alabama. And if you're a Bama fan, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to get better. You have to look at it and be like, great, we won the game. We're excited. We move on. You got to get better. But either way, Alabama wins 34-24 with, I believe, I saw a graphic during the game, the second largest comeback in school history. So congratulations, Bama. What a hell of a win. You stuck in there. You didn't roll over. You very easily could have looked at the scoreboard and be like 17-0, we lost this game, but you fought. And that second half was all Bama. All Bama. So Bama wins 34-24. They will advance to play Indiana. I believe that game is on January 1st. Absolutely hate how there's basically a week and a half, almost 2 full weeks between the first round college football playoffs to the second round. It should be back-to-back. We should be playing these next games this very next weekend coming up, but that's not what's going on. So, Bama, congratulations. You advance. Oklahoma, your season is officially over. You get to watch the rest of the playoffs from the couch. You got to fix your offense. Defense is great. You got to fix your offense. I don't know where you go from here. I don't think you get rid of John Mateer, obviously, but he's got to work on some mechanics, big time. Bama, if you want any hope of winning another game, you got to be able to run the ball. But at this point, 14 games into the season, you just are who you are. We'll see what you do against Indiana. But I'm letting you know right now, if that run game comes out against Indiana, you're losing that game. But either way, you're still in it. Good game. I will have a preview prediction video of all these second-round playoff games coming out. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned. Check out my channel within the next following week. I will have all of that. But other than that, over and out.